I had an interest in money from an early age, mainly because when I was growing up, we didn't have much of it. One of the first books about personal finance that I ever read was Rich Dad's Cash Flow Quadrant, Guide to Financial Freedom by Robert Kiyosaki. The book has something of a cult following. In it, Kiyosaki frames four approaches to building wealth, yet only two can help you to break free of the day-to-day grind. He explains that each of us falls into one of the following quadrants. Employee, the E quadrant. Your income is derived via a salary which you cannot control. No matter how hard you work, your income will always be capped. Self-employed, the S quadrant. This describes the majority of people who call themselves business owners, even those with a number of employees. In this quadrant, the company is entirely dependent on the owner's time. If he or she stops working, their income stops as well. Business owner, the B quadrant. This is the realm of entrepreneurs, people who design systems, machines comprised of people and processes to generate a profit. Investor, the I quadrant. Investors use money to create more money. They don't have to work because their money is working for them. Are you an S or a B? Unless one is a child prodigy entrepreneur, all of us started in the E quadrant. We were employees once upon a time. Then we created our own business and bought into a misconception. We thought we were heading straight to business owner, the B quadrant. But what typically happens is that we shift from employee to self-employed. Rather than owning a business, we own a job. Let that sink in. And I'm not just talking about solopreneurs here. The freelance graphic designer working from a home office, for example. You can be in this quadrant and have a dozen employees in a fancy office space downtown. You may own the company, but the company owns you too. Believe me, I know. I was in the same situation. When I first started my business, I took on a ton of debt, 10 times more risk than I ever imagined. Sure, I was proud of the leap I'd made, the vote of confidence in my capabilities. But as my business grew, I was working more and more hours. Sure, I had employees, but they needed me to stand over their shoulder. My clients needed me too. My company was completely dependent upon my time. And thus, so was my income. I bought into a lie. 3 years later, my business is still dependent on me, but the majority of the time I do spend is leading at the helm of the ship, not in the engine room. The cash flow quadrant is a useful model that helped me frame what it means to be a business owner. Maybe it's of use to you too.